So we are going live again, and this is going to be our first long episode of Redefining US. And we are breathing past any nerves so that we can invite you into the story of how we met. So I had a friend that I was helping her to decorate her house because her dad had yearly crab parties from Maryland, yes. And this was in Burbank, California. And so I was helping her do the party and or decorate it, and I went to go bail her boyfriend out of jail, so I wasn't there when people started arriving for the party. And then after I brought him back to her place, I walk in and people are already eating at the table, including this gentleman here. And I remember she was like, "Oh, I needed you to hang something up," and I had to climb the ladder to hang something up for her. But I do remember seeing him, and I was thinking to myself, wow, he's pretty cute, but at that time I was not interested in dating another man or being with another man. And so I remember getting my plate of food and my drink and sitting down at the table, and I just kept feeling eyes on me. So I keep turning and I would see him smiling, and then I hear him say to this other gentleman that was sitting next to him, "Watch, she's gonna turn again." And I knew that he was talking about me, and even though I knew he was talking about me, I was like, no, I'm not gonna turn. I still turned and looked at him, and he smiled, and he had this big grin on his face, like, "See, I told you." He's all cocky and shit. So, I'm saying we keep doing the eye thing for, I don't know, a good 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. And then he comes over and puts his hand in a cooler to draw out a cold beer.
Yeah, there was giant tubs of beer full of ice and beer, big, garbage can size barrels full of beer. And I fished around for a good while till my hand was freezing, and when I took it out, she was sitting on the steps, and that's when I finally went over and I put my hand right on her neck, all frozen and shit, and tried to, just say hello or whatever. That was after all the staring and everything.
What's funny is that this is already showing how we live in different realities, because I remember it a little bit different than him. I do remember him but I thought, okay, this is my version, that I was at the table and that he put his hand in the beer, pulled out a cold beer, and placed the cold beer against my back while I'm still sitting at the table. And I jump up and I was like, and I was thinking to myself, so that was his lead-in? Putting a cold beer on my back?
You were on the back porch steps.
That was after we went into the kitchen.
No. No.
That was after
my version. Okay.
That was after we went into the kitchen and talked, and then we came out on the steps, and then you were telling me about the psychic that was telling. Okay.
Yes, that's partly true, but there was the barrel of beer.
Only this version is true.
The barrel of beer, I'll never forget it.
Okay, neither will
was
I.
right next to the steps that she was sitting on, and that's when I made my move and came around. And yes, I think I did actually put the ice cold beer can on her neck or whatever. But yeah, so my version is similar as well, but my customer at work was a guy named Paul. He really wanted me to meet his daughter. I think I met her one time. She was really pretty and cool. I didn't really know all the details, like her having a boyfriend in jail or anything like that. I just know he wanted to set me up with her. He thought I was cool, and he wanted me to meet his daughter. So I was pretty excited. I was single. And I remember going over there, and there might have been 4 people there. We were early for sure. And when I went in the backyard, the first thing I saw was Jacqueline on a ladder hanging up something high on the wall or whatever. And instantly my heart was pounding. I didn't even see her front. All I saw was that long, flowing, beautiful, blonde, wavy hair, like down to her tailbone. And I just was like, holy shit, would you look at that? And so I right away zeroed in on her, and then I kind of went around the side to go peek at her and get a look on at her, and sure enough, she was absolutely stunning. I literally breathtaking. She took my breath away. She absolutely blew my mind. Just looked like a maiden from, the medieval times or something. Just to me, just like a absolute classic beauty. And the trippy part was, I think a couple months before that, I had a customer come in. I think she was just about to tell that part of the story, but a customer had come in one time only, never met this lady before, and she hung out with me for a couple hours at the bar and started telling me all about my future, which was super bizarre because she said, you were gonna meet really soon a lady that is gonna be the one, and she's gonna have long curly locks, and she'll have 3 A's in her name. And I was excited to meet her, but she also said that there would be 4 kids, which I'm thinking that just sounds crazy. I don't, but she said we would be having 4 kids, and there was gonna be a lot of trauma, and but it was all gonna be worth it, and passion, and just like a big life, but a lot. She said you're gonna go through a lot of pain and all that, and for sure all that happened. But back to meeting Jacqueline for the first time.
Every time he says that name, I'm like, oh yeah, my name was Jacqueline.
Well, back then that's what I called her. Now I call her Soha. But I worked my way around the party, and everywhere I went, I made sure I could stare at the blonde beauty that was there. I had completely forgotten about the daughter I was supposed to meet because I had my sights set on this one, and so I
Didn't you say?
I just couldn't stop staring at her, and there was this obvious chemistry, and I was really confident back then too. So I was super fit, and I had been sober, and I was feeling really great. So I was feeling, my head was getting clearer, and I was feeling fit, and I was, at a good place, I think, when I met her. So I literally sat next to this guy, and she was probably 3 seats to my right, and she was kind of facing away from me, and I kept staring at her and saying, look, she's gonna look again. And so all that's true, and she kept looking back at me staring with those eyes, and there was massive chemistry. There was it was undeniable.
And this is, by the way, because I actually remember the date we met, was September 13th, 1997. September 13th, 1997.
I remember it well. No, I don't really remember the date, I'm joking, but I will never forget that day. And
so he comes and he sits down, just to interrupt him. He comes and he sits down next to me on the steps later on after I'd been in the kitchen and I was listening to him, chat with some of the other people, and I was trying to get a good read on him, and I'm like, I kind of sensed something different about him. But then when he came and sat down next to me, he starts telling me the story about, nonchalantly, I met this psychic and she told me about meeting a woman with long curly hair and, we're going to go through a lot together. We're going to have 4 kids, but it's going to be, and that's you.
I was convinced. I mean, I just.
And I was like, I had written off all men, and so I was like, no. That's not going to happen at all. And we started talking, and and he said, and she said we'd be the best of friends. And so, like, we start talking, and we're sharing things, and I realize that the more I'm talking to him, the drunker he's getting, so the more animated he gets. And once everybody starts to leave the party, at this time, I had a really bad crystal meth addiction. And I carried it with me all the time. And so I decide to tell him, since he's going to be driving home, how about you, just do a line, sober you up so you can drive home. And
I thought, great idea. What a dumbass. Anyways, so I did it, and what do you know? I sobered right up on the meth. But
now he's awake. He's not drunk.
Yeah, made it home no problem. Yeah. But the tricky thing is I literally was convinced, aside from the drug and the whatever, I was convinced that she was the one this psychic lady had been telling me I was going to meet, because it just seemed like a no-brainer. And everything fit. And her last name, she had 3 A's in her name, and I thought, I'm going to meet this blonde chick with long hair and curly hair that has 3 A's in her name. Okay. And it turns out I meet exactly that. And so I literally was like, oh my God, this is actually happening.
What's funny is my last name had 3 A's in it at that time, but my first name also had an A in it, so that's 4 A's.
Well, that's a lot of A's. Probably more than I got in my entire high school career. No, but yeah, the trippy thing is I knew that she was the one, and so I had to handle this unlike all my other prospects, where I would just bed them and whatever. So I knew that I had to romance her, and then I actually succeeded at not bedding her for 11 dates. I counted them. But I knew it was special, and I didn't want to just, be that guy anymore.
11 dates?
Yes, we went out 11 times before we actually... Yeah,
Big babies.
So yeah, it was very exciting and very electric. Tons of chemistry in the beginning, and I was completely smitten and just floored at how gorgeous she was. And I think it might have been like a couple, 2-3 days in, and I was at work with all my customers. The place was like Cheers, and so I knew everybody. They were all regulars, and I had just finished telling them all, you guys ain't gonna believe this chick that I met. Oh my God, she's like amazing, and it's just like the psychic lady said, and they must have thought I was nuts, man. But anyways, she walks in. There was this little side door at the bar, and she walks in right as I'm talking about her. And I swear I saw her again, and she was even hotter than I even remembered. And I just thought, holy shit. And everybody in the bar just stared right at her. She walked right in, all smiley and confident and, jovial. And I just stopped smiling and grinning, because like, oh my God, that chick's into me. It was pretty cool.
I can't do it like that. And so when
pretty much, that's the story. That's definitely how we met. And how it all got started. I mean, you don't need to go into all the details right now.
Well, we went in, because we were really, I mean, we hit it off as friends, like, we both were just like nonstop, blah, 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 blah.
We would talk for hours and hours and hours.
And he could make me laugh like crazy, and because he's really funny, but at the same time, he told me his story, you know, when we first met too. He was like, I've been fucked right out of the gate. He starts telling me a story about him being abandoned and
my traumas and all
his traumas and all that. And so I listened to his story and I would respond, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can see how that was really hard. And then I'm like, well, I too went through some stuff, and I started to share my story.
Well, let's hear it. I literally made her stop. I just said, time out, man. I can't even take it anymore. We were like 10 minutes in. And I was like, never ever heard of anybody had gone through as much as she did. And this is before the crazy shit we went through together. But yeah, I literally just felt silly after telling her my crazy story. Like, oh man, it was this crazy big story, but when she told me about her, my heart just broke in a million pieces. And you know, then it was also about saving her too somehow, you know, like, will be safe with me.
Well, I think that's one of the things that we did is trauma bond.
Yeah, it's so obvious now.
We didn't know back then that there was even a thing called trauma bonding, or in the beginning, you know, I realized that we had trauma bonded, and that for our relationship, we were really good at mirroring each other's wounds, and so we were highly passionate and very to one another, but we were also highly volatile. And the arguments were like, they would go from here to there in a minute, and we'd be screaming at each other, lots of name calling, lots of projecting, and we both were very codependent on each other. And so,
you want to tell the whole story right now? And we'll
no, I was just kind of going
after she edits it. Just kidding it.
Are you okay?
No, I mean, how much time do you want to continue?
Well, I just feel like you got very uncomfortable when I started sharing a little bit about the issues that we had. Is that going to be okay with you sharing?
I just thought we were going to talk about.
Oh, so it
Yeah, so you
surprised you.
me.
Okay.
You slipped me a Mickey.
I didn't mean to slip you a Mickey.
Where are we going, Gary? I thought we were going. Yeah.
Okay, well, we can cut out those parts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so yes, just back to those beginning times, and I too had no idea how fucked up I was inside, mentally, emotionally, in so many ways, and so yeah, I'm barely discovering all that now. So yeah, we were the perfect mess to get together, man. A lot of love, a lot of trying to love and all that, but a lot of pain and all that too. But I'm grateful for the whole journey, and
Now he is. You're learning to be grateful for.
Yeah, I am learning for sure, but yeah.
It's been a very challenging, you know, we've lost 2 sons, and we have our daughter and our youngest son and our grandkids, and we're so grateful for that. But it's been a very challenging journey, and you know, we separated after our second passed away, and really started diving in and going through like a lot of inner healing and diving into the patterns that were keeping us stuck in sickness and in, immobility to move past the same destructive patterns that we were living in. And so, I think this is a really great opportunity for us to share about some of the things that we've learned and even discuss some of these things openly online, so that people can see how we're like trying to hear each other now and figure out each other's stories even as we do this, instead of it being perfected and we are the specialist on all of this.
Yeah, there's no telling what the future is with us, but I think, we're just
staying in the now.
Yeah, we're just living, man. No expectations like before and all that. We're just trying to heal and get better, and with ourselves, and who knows what that is as a couple, but I'm working on me, she's working on her, and
recently, because he's really been diving in with Dr. Nathaniel Thomas, who specializes in like the hypnotherapy, the binaural beats, and
customized tape.
He listens to you and your story, and then he customizes a tape with all the sounds and the subliminal messaging, and it's like a therapy session that you listen to every day, a couple of times a day, and even in the background. And since he started working with Nathaniel, oh my goodness. And so now
I was completely unaware of really everything, so the onions layers are coming off little by little, but the onion's huge, man.
But the onion is huge, but he's making like leaps and bounds since starting to work with Dr. Nathaniel Thomas. We are going to be leaving his information under so much time. I'm not going to go in and explain everything that he does, but I will be inviting him on here to speak so that he can tell you himself what he does and how he does it, and the leaps and bounds that Gerry has gone through since then, which actually helps me even grow leaps and bounds, because when I'm able to feel safe and confident to actually share something, and he responds in a way where he's more receptive and he's processing it too, it helps me to just be able to not always be on tiptoes, walking on eggshells, wondering when the next blast of heat wave.
And I would just say, from what I understand how it's working for me, is it gets at your theta state, which is when you're almost asleep, or you're kind of asleep but not asleep, and that's when your subconscious can really take in direction and break down everything. So it's kind of perfect for me, because I don't think I would have ever been able to figure it out with my brain awake. But the subliminal approach, all I know is I feel like my heart is expanding and wide open. I'm emotional, and I take a breath before, in the past I would just flip out. Now I take a breath and just let shit go better, which is super weird for me. And I mean, I don't want to get all into it, but yeah, I still feel like I have a ton of work, but it's working. Something's different.
Yeah,
weird.
Anyway, just saying, it's amazing stuff that Dr. Nathaniel Thomas is doing. So we will be giving out his information and also inviting him on here, and we're really grateful to him, because all the work that Gerry does and that I do myself, we know that it is benefiting our entire family, and that our daughter and our son and our grandchildren and future grandchildren and future generations are all going to benefit from the things that we work out in partnership whether or not we still have children and grandchildren together, and so we want to continuously work this out without putting a stipulation on how it has to end, right? Because we're just gonna
We're still
focus on
learning.
now.
Yeah, that's the goal, to do the work so future generations don't have to do it all.
And so that we can be free and love and enjoy the rest of our lives.
That'd be cool.
You know,
Yeah, bondage.
yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, bondage. Letting go of all the bondage.
Letting go of everything.
We didn't
I
know.
thought I am.
Yeah, and I am. We are.
Who is this guy? And where the fuck did Gerry go? Not cool.
Having the cool thing, I swear. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna end it for now. I'm gonna be editing. We would like to have you guys join us again, and y'all have an amazing night. Mwah!
Mwah.
As he does it to me.
Mwah.
Mwah! Like a